For the last 10 years, I've been working with women around the world who want to increase their revenue and create more financial freedom. One of the ways I support them is through money mindset and shifting the way they think about money, but also shifting the way they think about sales. So maybe you're here today because your sales is not where you want it to be. You are nervous every time you get on a sales call, you get sweaty armpits, you don't know what to say. If you're anything like me, you get no after no after no, and you're literally like, okay, no problem, bye. And that's the end of the conversation. Maybe you just feel like you suck at sales. You wish you could outsource it. If so, totally hear you. I've been there. I've worked with thousands of women around the world on the exact same problems. And this one strategy is going to be life-changing for you and make everything so much easier, I promise. And it's super fun. So if you are new to my world, I'm Emily. I skipped grad school to work at Starbucks, moved back in with my parents, randomly moved to London, England, met my husband online, started my own online business, and went from $442 all the way up to 7 figures in 18 months. And now I help women like you create a life that they love. So for me, one of the biggest issues when I started my business was not knowing how to sell. Now, I want to debunk one of the biggest sales myths before we even get into all the meat and potatoes of this video. The number one thing I hear from people is that they don't know how to sell. They aren't a natural born salesperson. And also they don't really want to be because in their mind, sales is sleazy. Sales means they're taking money from someone who doesn't actually have it. They're doing something negative. And so they want to get as far from that as possible. Now, here's the issue. You've actually been selling your entire life. So maybe you were selling to your parents when you were a baby and you cried and you needed something. You needed food, you needed sleep. You sold to them. You told them what you needed in some form or another, okay? The other thing you've been doing is telling people about things you love. Maybe you tell your friends about your favorite movie, your show on Netflix, favorite restaurant. That is sales. And so we need to get over the fact that we think we're not salespeople or we don't have any sales experience, because that's absolutely not true. All humans have sales experience. So I want to really plant that seed first and foremost, because it's going to help you feel a bit more confident when you get on these calls. All right. So before we get into the strategy, I want to also share a little bit of my story, because I think it's going to help you see where I was going wrong and apply it to your own life. So when I first started my business, there was a period of time where I had 54 no's in a row. So 54 people said no to working with me. I got on call after call after call. No one wanted to work with me. The weird thing was they said they loved what I was offering, but they didn't have the money. They didn't have the time. There were a million excuses, but mainly it was because they didn't have the money. Now, the issue with this is I didn't know how to handle that objective. And so literally the conversation ended when they said they didn't have the money. I didn't know how to take it a step further. I didn't know how to further support them in that conversation. Okay. Now, even thinking about further supporting somebody in that conversation might bring up a lot of fear for you. Some sweaty palms. You don't know what you would say. And that's what this video is all about. Now, my methodology for moving past all of those mindset blocks, all of those fears that your clients are bringing up is one simple thing. Do not buy into their BS. Do not buy into their story. Now, here's what I mean by this. One of the things that we often do is we buy into people's story. We believe their story about how they don't have something. Now, before I share that number one strategy, I want you to understand that there's one thing that you can do to really shift your mindset from the get-go to make your sales process even stronger, okay? It's super simple. So when somebody tells you that they don't have the money, I want you to automatically believe that they are lying, okay? They're not lying to deceive you, but they are lying because it's actually not true that they don't have the money. They may think that they don't, but you believe in an abundant universe and you believe that they are capable of finding the money. And so therefore, they do have the money. The reason I say this is because nobody wants to work with somebody or have a mentor or have a coach who doesn't believe in them. And so by you buying their story and believing that them telling you they don't have the money is the absolute truth, you are actually not believing in them to the highest degree that you possibly can. Just think about it. If you got on a call with me and you told me you didn't have the money, but you really wanted to work with me, if I was just like, okay, no problem, bye, and that was the end of the conversation, you wouldn't feel very supported. But if on the flip side, I believed that you wanted to do the program, but I didn't believe that you don't have the money, and I literally straight up asked you, can I help you find the money? And we got solution oriented towards the goal and brainstormed together, you would feel way more supported. And yet that's what most people aren't taught and don't have the confidence to actually do. All right. So there's two things right there that you can start to transform. Really think about those as you go into your next sales call. Now, before I get to the strategy, I know I'm really building it up. I want you to check out my 7-figure sales script below. Now, this is a framework that you can take and apply it into your own business and sales process. Obviously, make it your own, change some of the verbiage if it's not aligned. But I wanted to give you that tool as an opportunity to support your growth on your sales calls. You can also check out my Money Mindset Masterclass if you feel like you do have a lot of money blocks coming up. That's linked below, as well as the ebook that goes with it. All right. Now for strategy. So I've already shared a couple of tips with you that you can implement right away in your sales process. Now, this strategy really will knock it out of the park for you. And it's so simple when we think about it. All right. So like I said, we want to believe that everyone is abundant. We want to believe that they are capable of finding the money or making the money, somehow getting it together to do the thing they want to do. Let's be real. People are always finding the money for the things they want to do, whether it's the vacation, the purse, the Starbucks latte, and your work should be no different. So I want you to go into the sales call with the mindset that everyone has a rich grandma in their corner. So this is my rich grandma method. And what I mean by that is everyone has the money available to them or has somebody who can help them fund the thing that they want to buy, like a rich grandma, like an inheritance. And when you go into it with that frame of mind, it changes the game and you start to recognize everyone as abundant. You don't buy their story anymore. You change your belief around what they're capable of and what's possible. And honestly, when you go in thinking everyone has the rich grandma, you also come at it with a different energy yourself. You're not desperate for the sale because you know everyone has a rich grandma. And if this isn't the right client for you, then it's going to be like on to the next. Okay? Because you always want to be the buyer, not just the seller. Okay? You are also buying into whether this is the right person for you. And by the way, that's from the book 10 Times is Easier Than 2 Times by Dr. Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan. Highly recommend. So you always want to be the buyer. Come at it with that energy. You know there are an abundance of clients out there for you that all have rich grandmas that can afford your services. Now it's your job to find people who are the right fit. They're the dream clients. You want to work with them all day, every day. You want to replicate them. And that's that, period. Okay. So there you have it. My rich grandma method. Love it. It's so fun as well. I hope that helps you implement all of this into your life and your business so you can skyrocket your sales and not have 54 no's in a row like I did. All right. So if you're looking to go even deeper with this, the next video is going to help you do that. Make sure to tune in. You can also look at those links below, my 7-figure sales script and my Money Mindset Masterclass and ebook. Of course, make sure to subscribe to this channel as well.